Hello and welcome to the premiere episode of Blue Blur Season 3. I am your host, Sonicguru, and we're tackling the idea of whether or not Sonic Boom is a separate timeline split from the main game series. Sonic Boom, also known as Sonic Toon in Japan, is a spin-off franchise in the Sonic the Hedgehog series. In an interview with the head of Sonic Team, Takeshi Iizuka, Sonic Boom came about as a desire to appeal to more Western territories. Iizuka also stated that the franchise will run in parallel with the modern series of Sonic games by redesigning the cast and having more of a comedic focus. Boom's first steps with the prequel games, Rise of Lyric on Nintendo Wii U and Shattered Crystal on Nintendo 3DS, were shaky and unsupported, with Rise of Lyric being one of the worst selling Sonic games of all time. The Boom franchise, however, has found life in its TV series, which at time of writing is currently airing its second season. This also includes its short-lived comic series by Archie Comics, licensed toy line from Tomy, and a sequel to Shattered Crystal on 3DS, Sonic Boom: Fire and Ice. In universe, Sonic and his friends live on Bygone Island and stop Dr. Eggman from his evil schemes on a daily basis. Though it sets itself apart from the main game series, there are recognizable name drops from the games, as well as Metal Sonic and Shadow the Hedgehog appearing in the show, with Shadow having a similar grudge and rivalry with Sonic. It's hard not to look at this and think, is Sonic Boom a parallel universe? And if so, the question is, where did the Sonic Boom timeline split off from the main one? At the end of the 20th anniversary game Sonic Generations, Classic Sonic and Tails head off back to their own time, while Classic Eggman is left in white space with his modern counterpart. After an unknown period of time between Generations and Lost World, modern Eggman is back in his own time, and presumably so is Classic Eggman. Now, the first factor to this theory is an interesting discussion between the two Eggmen in the after credits scene of Generations.
Do we ever win? That depends on your definition of win. Beating Sonic? Oh, well then no. That doesn't give me much hope.
The second factor to this theory is the exact point in the series that the classic characters were pulled out of. The fact that both Classic Sonic and Tails are present mean that this was sometime during or before Sonic 2, and then the presence of Metal Sonic and the absence of Classic Knuckles narrows it down to during Sonic CD. Right? Wrong. You see, the rival battle against Metal Sonic in Generations is set in the bad future of Stardust Speedway. While many have theorized this odd detail proves that Sonic canonically wasn't able to find the Time Stones and save Little Planet, I beg to differ. The bad future that Sonic fought Metal in during Generations was way before Sonic was supposed to arrive in that point in time and originally beat Metal. Think of it this way. It's some time before the events of CD, and bang, Sonic is pulled into white space. While venturing through the first segment of the game, which covers his past and near future, he comes across Metal Sonic for the first time, who's been pulled from some point in his own time. So he fights Metal Sonic in the timeline he was pulled from and beats him. But unlike in the events of Sonic CD, that this Sonic is yet to experience, there is no kidnapped Amy. No Eggman chasing him with a giant death beam, and he is actually able to harm Metal Sonic. Why is this so different from what actually happened in Sonic CD? Because Eggman doesn't know he's there yet. Amy hasn't been kidnapped and Metal Sonic has not been finished. He even malfunctions mid-battle during Generations. That shows he's clearly got some kinks that need working out. So already Sonic is inadvertently screwing with his future and causing who knows how many problems in his timeline. Now that we've deduced that Sonic and Tails were pulled from a time gap between Sonic 2 and CD, and already know that Eggman was pulled out at the end of Sonic 2, we can finally talk about what happened after Generations. All three of our time travelers have a basic idea of what their future holds for them. Classic Sonic and Tails have seen multiple situations and locations where their adventures will supposedly take them, and met many of the friends that they actually haven't officially met yet. While Classic Eggman has been straight up told by his future self that he will always fail to beat Sonic and never come out on top. This is more than likely where the timeline truly branches off from the main one. Eggman's realization that he will never achieve world domination or beat Sonic drastically changes his way of life. He loses his motivation for world domination and lowers the purpose of his goals to something much more simple: beat Sonic in any conceivable way. This downgrade in his ambition gradually lowers his hate towards Sonic to a petty rivalry, and he eventually becomes more of a nuisance to Sonic than a real threat. To quote the Sonic Boom 2016 style guide, if Eggman snagged a legit invite to Sonic's next sleepover, then Eggman would consider it a real victory. Without any real threats to deal with, Sonic and Tails become a lot more relaxed over time, and even go as far as to settle down on Bygone Island, giving Tails time to set up a permanent workshop and become much more active in his profession than before. As for Sonic, despite knowing who his future friends were, he didn't even attempt to look for them after witnessing future Amy's obsessive behavior and future Knuckles' jab at his weight, which would explain why Sonic became much more slender. But even if Eggman had continued his original schemes, Sonic still would have taken a different path because of one simple fact. Sonic is an adventurer, a thrill seeker. He would never accept a predetermined history and would never be able to live life knowing exactly what his future held. He doesn't follow anybody's rules, not even history's. So to wrap things up, here's how this would affect the other characters. Amy would not have found Sonic or Eggman on Little Planet, causing her obsession to fade as she got older until actually meeting him later. Knuckles' stupidity could be attributed to the fact that until he met Sonic on Angel Island, he had no other contact with any other beings in his life, and eventually became smarter over time. But since he didn't meet Sonic until much later than he was supposed to, he's still dumb. Either that or he fell off Angel Island head first. Shadow's more antagonistic attitude is because the events of Sonic Adventure 2 never happened, and he was released by someone else who didn't give him the means to get to Ark. His rivalry with Sonic probably started later due to unknown circumstances. So there you have it. That's how I theorize that the major events that occurred in Sonic Generations affected the future of classic Sonic and Eggman to become who they are in Sonic Boom. So what do you guys think about this theory? Let me know in the comments below. This has been Blue Blur, thanks for watching. If you want to see more, check the description or click on the annotation for more videos. And if you want to see more future videos, then be sure to like, share and subscribe to Sonicguru Productions. You can also support this channel over on Patreon. Thanks again everyone, I've been Sonicguru and I'll see you next time.